Hello and welcome back to the live reality game podcast. My name is Steven Stewart and I'm thrilled to be here for more Surviving Reelfoot first fire coverage. And joining us today to talk all about this game, we have Juan. Juan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about this. I've been talking to a lot of people about it ever since, but I'm just excited to actually have this conversation and just delve into the game that I played.
How have you been doing since Reelfoot? Because it's been a couple weeks now.
I've been doing great. Actually, like the second I got home, I was like, "Yes, I'm home." And it was just like normal because I live alone. So I'm really an introvert, so being around people that long, I was like, I'm ready to go home, have my own space. But it didn't really hit me until a few days after I got home
Mhm.
and I got back into real life. And I'm like, dang, I could really use like a handful of rice and sleeping on the cold ground right now. But I've been good.
I mean, you could always recreate those conditions really easily.
True, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Not the same if you don't have like five to seven of your best frenemies out there suffering with you, really.
Right.
So, talk to me. How did you discover Reelfoot? What led you to apply for it?
So I'm actually from the org community. Like I started playing minis and like orgs online. And
When did you start that?
like the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, like
Mhm.
my Twitter was just filled with marching band stuff. And then one of my friends who I knew through that was like, I'm hosting a Survivor online mini. Like, if you want to play. And I'm like, what's this? Because I've always known what Survivor was. I watched it with my mom growing up. So I always knew what it was, but I didn't know that there was a whole other community making games about it and doing all that. So I played, I was a deer in headlights. Fast forward to last year, I learned about LRGs probably like a year and a half ago, and I was like, "Oh, I want to play one." So, um, I signed up to do what was it? Synergy, which is mostly challenge based. So like
Yeah.
there's not really any voting people out, and I did that. I was flopped. I was really early boot. Lost a challenge and didn't get back in. And some people there actually played Reelfoot the season before. Who was it? Jeff and Hannah,
Mhm.
and they told me about it. They're like, you should apply. And I also have people in the community like Danny and O'Rear who I've played a lot of their online games and knew that they played. So like it just came to me just from the universe of orgs and Survivor.
So, do you actually watch the show, or are you just like for you, Survivor is something you just kind of watch and engage with growing up?
I watch it. I know I watched it growing up, and there was a time like around high school, college where kind of I didn't forget about it, but I wasn't like into it. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this a few times, whatever, whatever. And then I got back into it around like 2020, 2021. So I've seen all the seasons, but I can't like recall a lot of stuff. But I watch it, yeah.
So, you apply for Reelfoot, you get cast for Reelfoot. What I guess from talking to people have done a variety of research into the game. Like, how much did you prepare for coming on to play Reelfoot?
Honestly, when I got cast for it, I was excited. Personally, I didn't want to do much because I'm like, this is my first time going out there. I want to see how personally I just do with what I know and how I am. So I watched a few of the episodes that are on YouTube from Reelfoot. I didn't really do any deep digging. But like I watched some of the episodes that were out, some of the old ones. Um, and when it came to like me physically, I was working every day teaching kid. Like I really didn't have time to like kind of delve into buying a flint and steel and working on fire at home. I was like, you know what? I'll learn it and see if I can pick it up. And if not, it's not for me and I'll choose a different route. So I really wanted to go in as myself as possible without like preparing too much.
Did you have any strategies in mind you wanted to use when getting there, or you kind of like figure it out as you go?
Well, I did kind of have a strategy, like a really skeletal version of it, because like I said, I played online versions of Survivor, so I kind of wanted to take it like that. I wanted to go in and be as useful to my tribe as possible, but not being the one who was just like constantly in someone's face. Like I wanted my tribe to know that, hey, oh, he's good at physical stuff. He's good at endurance stuff. Like we can use him in challenges, but I also didn't want to be too overbearing. Like, oh, he's too good, or oh, he talks to people too much. He's too nice. So like, I wanted to
I mean,
like
it
just
works
make
for
those
Rob.
connections. Yeah, it did. It did. I wanted to just make those connections going in, and then as it evolves, kind of set up a path from there. So like I had a really exoskeleton type strategy.
I'm curious, given you played Survivor orgs, from your experience with Reelfoot, what surprised you? What was like the biggest unexpected difference between those experiences?
Just how you like me personally react in the situations, because a lot of situations socially were the same. Like, people are going to lie, people are going to tell you things. Those are the same, but like on top of being hungry, on top of being cold and hot and sweaty, like it just turns your brain into a big mush. And so like personally, I've noticed things that I did or said that I wouldn't really do in an org, but in my desk chair right here with food and the AC, like I wouldn't have done when I played those. But in Reelfoot, I did, because everything's mush up here, and you're like off of survival instincts. You couldn't even last yourself. But yeah, it most of it was the same. Like it was what I expected, but yeah, just I guess the conditions of everything on top of like survival and strategy, like that was the main difference.
So JOS is saying he made you break character. Is that true?
No, I'll say what I want when I want. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that though. I think I know what he's talking about.
Okay, good. So it's time for the game. You fly to Tennessee. Was there anyone in your car shuttle from the airport or in your sequester room that ended up mattering your game?
I actually drove to Tennessee because I'm only like 3.5, 4 hours from the game site. So I woke up that morning like 5 o'clock and like, all right, time to drive. So I drove by myself. I didn't know who was playing. I didn't see anybody in restaurants the night before. Like, kind of got a feel. So I came in literally when I went there. The first people I saw were a few production, and in my room was Allison and Brandon. So
Okay.
I didn't know them, but
So eventually the game begins. You're placed on the orange tribe, then out of tribe. I'm curious, looking at the cast, was there anyone you recognize in any way, shape, or form?
yeah, there were a couple people that I recognized. Like I immediately recognized Sam, Samantha. I know her from online games. I haven't played with her much, but I I know her voice. Okay, I know her voice. So like
Reputation
I heard
precedes
it, yeah, and I was like, oh, that sounds familiar, and I'm like, that's Sam. Also, I'm going to apologize before we really get into this, because I'm just going to say what was on my mind, and I'm not going to like say anything wild or crazy, but this is just to the cast. I mean, I'm not sorry at the end of the day, but this is just a warning of if I say anything, just ask me questions. But yeah, I recognize Sam. Um, and I didn't recognize this person, but I did figure out like after I left the game that I hosted this person in one of my orgs, Trav. So like he was on a cast that I hosted for my Survivor org online, but he went by Josh. So like I didn't make the connection, and the looks didn't really stand. Like I was just in the zone. But other than that, I didn't realize I played a mini with Eliana like a few weeks or months before, but we were on different tribes, so we didn't see each other. So I didn't really recognize her, but I kind of was like, she sounds familiar, she looks familiar. But other than that, no. Oh, Isaiah, I think I knew Isaiah, but I didn't know him. Like I think I've seen him around like Facebook and like the community, but like I never interacted with him, I don't think.
What was your initial impression looking at your tribe compared to the Purple Kanane tribe?
When I first saw my tribe, I was happy that I was on a tribe with someone in my room, first of all. So like I really was like, okay, Allison, she has a nice energy about her. I love it. And then looking at the rest of my tribe, I was like, oh, like I'm kind of the smallest guy. Like I'm small, but like I know I'm not the weakest guy like overall. But then I realized like we didn't really have any weak guys. Like I thought our tribe looked great. Like we had some pretty built people. We had like I knew I was fast, so I'm like, okay, I can do fast. Like everyone looked smart. I just think we had a well-rounded tribe off the looks of it. And looking at the other tribe, I was like, okay, they have a really big guy, But other than that, I'm like, I think we got them because I feel like we just look well rounded, like in all. But you never know until you start playing the games.
So, how is that opening reward challenge for you?
Um, I actually loved it. I was ready to jump in and ready to go. Like I was hoping we didn't just go to camp. I wanted to get the blood rushing and get to know people, in the sense of how they would do in challenges. So it was really good. We started off, and like I said, I wanted to come in and show that I'm useful to the tribe. So when the first part of that challenge was like running into the field to grab stuff, I took off and like I had a good lead on everybody. So I'm like, yeah, I'm the fastest one out here. Great. They know I'm going to be useful for something in challenges, right? So I grabbed stuff. We got to the mayo table in the water. And I was like, oh, I love mayo. I got this. And I sucked the spoon in and put it in my mouth and I immediately gagged. And I was like, whoa, maybe I don't. This is disgusting. It tastes like
Cold mayo
dirt.
versus lukewarm mayo is a very different thing, I think.
Yeah, and I guess I expected it to be like I didn't something I don't know why I thought it would be just like regular mayo, like a little cool. No, it was like really warm, and I was like, yeah, I I can't do this. I got like another spoonful. That's it. Like I took two spoonfuls. I look at Deb, and she's just devouring it down. I'm like, how are you doing this? The water, I chugged a few of those. The ring toss was fun. Overall, it was a good challenge. Like I think I show people that like I was useful in the speed, and then we got to the hot mayo, right? We got to the part where we had to get our stuff through the frames, and that was probably one of my favorite things because when we got there and they were telling us what we had to do, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm about to jump through this. Like I'm getting through. So I kind of stayed back and helped people get through, pass the stuff through. And I'm like, all right, I'm about to clear this. And in my head, I'm like, this can go really wrong because if my foot touches the bottom of this, everyone and everything is going to have to come back and rego through. That's a little foot roll to the wooden frame. Not a show off. And I jumped through, and it was yes a little bit to show off, but also a little bit to show people, yeah, but to show people that like, oh, I'm putting my all in this. Like I'm gonna jump through hoops for y'all, like literally. And that was kind of my mindset in that first challenge. Like I wanted to be useful, show off my strengths where I can, because it's your first impression. Like you want your tribe to keep you around, not only because they like you, but because you're useful to them in some way. So yeah, the first challenge was great for me, at least.
Anyone else stand out to you on that challenge?
Um, like I said, I think we were all well rounded. I know there was a point where I saw Deb like hanging in the back, like after that mayo, which I totally understood. You just ate a jar of mayo, like, yeah, walk. Like, I'm fine with that. So I kind of stayed back and helped her, like, just encourage her, like asking if she was okay. Making sure, she just needed water. I gave her my water. Like, I was just being helpful where I could to show people, like, hey, I'm also really helpful and really like I'm a people person. I like helping people. So I took those moments to enjoy the connections with people who were in the back, and also people who were in the front. So I just, like I said, took that challenge to kind of get a gauge of what people were doing and how people were. But like that whole time, I thought the tribe was like, I thought we were doing great. Even when we fell behind in the ring toss, we literally caught back up past them and we just lost on the puzzle. So
Kanani wins. You head to your camp. Talk to me about those opening hours of the game. How were they? Did anything important happen for you?
um yeah, so the walk back to camp was great. Like we talked a little bit. We were saying like, we had them. Like they're not the strongest people. They're not fast. Like we got them. Just kind of making ourselves feel better after losing the first challenge, because you lose one challenge and everyone's mood is like womp. But what we realized, we were just like, oh, it's just chairs and blankets. We didn't come out here for like chairs and whatnot. So we were like, we got the stuff we need. We're Gucci. We're great. We get the camp. And I remember they were always saying like the other tribe got the best camp, but like our camp might have been small, but I thought it looked pretty good. Like our trees, the way they were placed, we had a lot of different options to set up camp and like have a rope and a tarp. I've initially felt like we were all taking kind of an equal charge on like where things would go. Like we weren't really fast on deciding where it was gonna go, but we were all talking like, hey, can we go here? And another person would be like, well, if it rains, the water is going to drain there. And we're like, okay, what about here? And we're like, well, we don't have a lot of like, I just thought it was a lot of back and forth. But then like Chad did was like, this area is nice. We got a pretty open area. We can have our tarp here between the two trees. And we started to set it up. Like, I thought people were all gathering firewood and just being useful. And even if they weren't doing anything, looking like they were doing something, so they wouldn't be like called out or singled out for not helping. But it was pretty good. We got a fire started fast, and like I think we had a lot of time to just sit down and talk to each other and play like theater type style games to break the ice. And I think we really got things together fast. So it was pretty cool.
Um, who were you vibing or connecting with early on?
Um, at first, I came into the game. I'm like, I want to work with women. That's just me. I love women. I was raised by a house full of strong women. My mom, my grandma, like everybody in my life, my two sisters. So like, I'm working with the women. Forget the guys. So like, I immediately was drawn to Allison and Aliana, and especially Aliana because we kind of have similar personalities where we're just sarcastic as hell. Like, and I think we realized that right off the bat. So those two really drew me in. Um, and also, who else? I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute. Um, I was also really drawn to Deb. Like I said, we connected a lot in that first challenge. So like, I was literally looking at those three women as people like, I want to work with you. Let's lock in. So yeah, those are the three people who really stood out to me at first.
Let's talk about two of those opening twists in the game. The first is when you arrive at camp, you find a cryptex in the fire pit. What were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so the cryptex, I saw it and I was immediately like, well, game's on. But I didn't want to be too drawn to it. So like um I went to look at it and like I was like, how many letters are there? Six. All right. Took that mental note in and I was like, what I'm gonna do, I don't want to be too drawn to it, but I want to help someone figure it out. I want to help someone maybe
Hmm.
um think of words or find the letters. So I found myself suggesting a lot of words more so than actually using it. Um and yeah, I didn't think much about it because if someone was going to find it, it would either be public information or not, but it eventually will be because like it would just disappear, right? So I was
Hmm.
like, I want someone else to focus on it more than me, but I want my time with it as it comes. But yeah.
You also receive one third of a hidden immunity idol. And so technically, there's three idols in your tribe that people can assemble the pieces together. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, as soon as we got those, I was like, in my checklist, my mental checklist, I was like, I'm getting an idol and I'm playing it. Like I like from the second that happened, I knew what I wanted to do because that was one of my um bucket list things of coming here. Because like every online survivor org that I've played, I've always had an idol. Somehow, like I magically always run into an idol, and I'm like, I don't want this to be any different. I want to get one and play it. So that just kind of changed the game for me because it makes it more of a social game, right? You want to have those good connections with people to be able to get their bead. So I immediately started thinking about how I was going to kind of game that and be able to get the beads for to use. So
What were your plans to accomplish that?
um honestly, I wanted to find my trio. Like, for me, what I found worked in Survivor games was having like a strong trio. Any more, any less, it gets tricky. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find a good trio and kind of work my magic from that. And if that didn't work, kind of find a few outsiders in the trio and kind of build those relationships and hopefully get the beads to protect the trio or myself in the case if that happens. So yeah, it was a lot. It was took a lot of thinking overnight until I actually got one bead as we'll talk about. And then the third bead that came, it was just like the perfect scenario of how it happened, but it just didn't get executed perfectly. But we'll talk about that too.
So you're talking about your trio. And day one, was that looking to be Allison and Aliana?
Yeah, I think it was day one if I'm not mistaken. That I I think it was me and Allison at our cabana, um, and it was also Deb was laying there, and I just remember this vividly. Allison asked me, "Who do you want to work with?" And I said, "Her, Aliana, and Deb. Those are three I pointed at." And she was like, "Good." And then she was like, "What about Jay West?" And I'm like, "Okay, I can work with Jay West. That's fine." Because like I said, I liked everybody on our tribe. Everyone was great. So yeah, that was like really the first real conversation that I kind of had with Allison. And I think I had one with Aliana too, but it was more of just I was trying to separate them at first, see how they felt about each other. And then when I said that, and she was like, perfect. And I think that's kind of how, in my head at least, that trio came together. So yeah, those were the three people that I was looking to connect with, and Deb too, also from the beginning.
How was your first night?
Um, the first night wasn't it was interesting because I knew already, like I told myself I'm gonna stay up and stay with the fire, right? So, because a lot of people wouldn't want to stay up. Everyone's tired. They've been on planes the night before. We just did these all these challenges. Um, I'll be the one to stay up. I can sleep when I'm dead. I don't care. I can get 30 minutes and I'll be fine. So I purposefully stayed up for the fire, just little as someone thinks that I didn't wasn't really strategic out there. I had my things. It wasn't always about being social or being good at, like, it was the small things for me. Like I wanted to stay up and be like kind of the fire master, so people wouldn't want to lose that. They wouldn't want to lose the person who's staying up throughout the night doing a fire. I don't know. That's what I thought. But it got cold. Because I was like, oh, it's pretty warm. We're gonna get a good night's sleep. 3 a.m. came around, the temperature plummeted, and yeah, that was the opposite happened. It got cold. But other than it being cold, it wasn't bad. Like we had snores, but the snoring kind of gave the outside life. It kind of made it feel like, there's people here, so I'm not alone. But first night for me wasn't that bad. I stayed up with the fire. Oh, another reason why I did stay up with the fire, I wanted to kind of see people's patterns, if that makes sense. Like how long do they sleep at a time, or like how do they look when they're really asleep? So if it's nighttime and I need to go off and talk to people, and this kind of happens later, I know if these people are really asleep or if they're just playing like they're asleep to make us walk away and see who's talking. So that was another reason I kind of wanted to stay up those first couple nights with the fire, but it was good.
During the second day, you win that first community challenge. You win that opening reward challenge for day two. And Kobe goes to the other tribe and comes back with a chair, but he also opens up the cryptex as well in that journey. Talking about your thoughts of Kobe and the cryptex.
Yeah, so Kobe, like I said, I wanted someone else to be more focused on it than I was. So as soon as he like picked it up and kept it like a lot, I was like, there we go. That's like someone I kind of want to work with, number one. Just because he's already a kind of a more of a target than me, because he's just super fixated on this. So I'm like, okay, let's kind of see where I can get with him. And Kobe, um, we actually drew rocks to see who would go on that camp raid. And when we drew the rock, Kobe got the white rock. And in that moment, I felt like he didn't want to go, because I felt like he knew that like something was telling him like this is kind of a red flag. So he was like, "Oh, y'all sure y'all don't want to go?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, you got it." And I'm like, he was a little shaky when he said that. So like, I don't think he wants to go. But he went. He came back. As soon as he left, everyone just starts talking shit. Not like bad shit, but they're like, "Oh, I hope, is he going to tell the truth when he comes back?" So like, kind of what I thought in the moment happened, and I was kind of trying to be like, hopefully he does. Like, hopefully he just gets what he needs, gets some information if he can, and comes back. Um, and he comes back, and like when he comes back, he immediately goes for the cryptex. I realized that, and I think people like Deb, who was like beside me, realized it too. Like I forgot who had it, but he was like, "Can I see that?" as soon as he got back. But we got a chair. We got a little bit of candy that was in a chair and a hammock. We got the hammock, I think, if that was that time. But either way, we got the chairs and some stuff. And like I said, Kobe comes back and gets the cryptex. We're still thinking about it. At this point, I think I go off to do some conversations, maybe some confessionals, and I come back and the cryptex is like by itself. So I'm just sitting there trying to get into it. And then Kobe comes beside me and like sits down and like just watching me for a second. And then he like leans over and whispers in my ear. He said, I opened it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, because people are around us at this point, but he's like whispering, and I'm just like, what's the word? And he says utopia. And I put it in and I like pull it out a little bit, but I didn't want to like open it in front of everybody. And I
Mhm.
closed it. And then he was like, yeah, I figured it out a minute ago. And I'm like, okay. And then that's in that conversation. Like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know who he's told yet. I'm like, I'm the first person he told. Like, this is perfect. Like, I love it. And then that's when things just started going crazy. Like, people were like, oh, he's open. And I'm like, well, something's went gone wrong. And like Deb actually saw that he opened it before that. So like it was just a lot of things that went wrong in that Kobe cryptex thing, which I wanted to happen, not necessarily to him, but I wanted someone to fixate over it so much that it kind of goes wrong for them. So I'm not in the eye or the limelight to get voted out, you know. Um, but yeah, it was kind of sad because like it just went all types of wrong. Oh, and before we get on any further, I do want to mention something. Um, Around this time, I know like the core four was brewing, right? And so along that, I think I think it was day two. We were on the way to a challenge, or actually before the challenge, I think it was Jay West that pulled me in, and he was like, "Oh, yes, there's this group. It's a group of five. It's Allison, Aliana, Chad, me, and Jess." And he's like, "I'm the fifth. I want to let you know because I want to work with you." And in my head, I'm like, "Perfect. You know, those are the three people, Allison, Allie, and me, like who I'm working with, and they're working with Chad and you and Jess." I'm like, perfect, that's great. Like I need to talk to Chad and Jess more and get this like, kind of get myself into that so I'm not
Mhm.
like on the outs. And then on the way to one of the challenges, I'm in the back with Chad where he has the banner and I'm walking with him. And he's like, hey, so there's a group of people that I want to propose to you, like a six of us, and he names the same exact people with me. So right off the bat, like two people came to me with like a different group. I mean, it's a group of the same people, but two different instances of them coming to me without me knowing. So like, I'm like, okay, there's this group of four, obviously, like Chad, Allie, Allison, and Jess, that are kind of like this core, and they're bringing in me and Jay West and potentially Deb, because I think Chad left out Jay West and included Deb. I'm not really sure, but there was one person that was different than what Jay West told me, or than Jay West. And yeah, I kind of wanted, like, I knew that was a thing, but I didn't want to upset it. So I'm like, if I play along, I'm good, and they'll think I'm loyal to them. So like, I kind of played along with it. So like, I knew that that was a thing. I wasn't oblivious to things going on. I just wanted to make my place in it and not disrupt it, and then be the target. So just before I forgot to say that.
So your tribe has been back and forth with other tribes. Each of you have won two reward challenges. Going in the first immunity challenge, how are you feeling about your place in the tribe, and have you started hearing names yet?
Um, Going into the first immunity challenge, was that the puzzle, like the table puzzle? No.
Yes, this is the man down where you carry the person on a stretcher. There's some ball
Oh,
balancing, ends with a puzzle. That has all the elements.
okay. Yeah. So, um, going into that challenge, we were talking, and it came down to where, like, they knew it was going to be me or Allison that were going to be on the stretcher, because like we want two of the smallest people potentially to be on the stretcher, or someone who's good at calling and being blindfolded. And I was like, I'm fine with being blindfolded. I'm just not, you know, just get someone who's good at seeing the puzzle to put it together or whatever it is, because I didn't care about being, I'm blind anyway. So I'm like, let's go. But my place on the tribe, honestly, like I said, I felt good because I think honestly that was the challenge we were walking to with Chad. No, it was before that. But anyway, I knew that it was apparently me, Allison, and Allie. I knew I had a connection with them. Um, Me and Kobe kind of had that shared thing with the cryptex where he told me about some things, and like, we were kind of talking a little bit, and Jay West had told me about the line. So I kind of felt good where I was socially and also physically, because like I think that I I did a really good job in a lot of the challenges before, so I didn't think I was the weakest person, and they wouldn't want to get rid of me. So I thought I was in a good spot, and I was again the blindfolded person. Geraldine was the other person who was on the other's tribe, and we were sitting there. We didn't talk a lot because we really couldn't, but I was like, "Hi, I'm Juan. Geraldine, how are you?" She's like, "I'm good," and I was just trying to, get as much convo with the other tribe as I can. But I felt pretty good. And I knew I wanted to win, obviously, but yeah, I felt pretty good.
Did you have an ideal target if you lost?
No, I didn't have an ideal target. I knew I didn't want it. Honestly, I didn't want it to be a woman, and I guess that paid off. But no, my plan was I didn't have targets. Like I said, I didn't want to disrupt that course. So I was like, what they bring to me, I want to go with them because at the end of the day, they were the strongest thing, and I didn't want them to think I was against them, if that makes sense. So I didn't really have a target, but if I had to pick one, I think in my confessional they asked me like who have I really haven't connected with, and I was like I really want to talk to Jess and Chad because those two people, like me and Chad, kind of built. Well, he built a lot of the stuff with the I don't know what it's called now. I keep calling it the cabana with our tribe thing where we slept. But there was one point where I helped him because no one was really helping him build it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to help him see if I can get some talks out of him, and just let him know that I'm willingly helping and want to talk. So I would say it was probably would have been one of those two, Chad or Jess. But again, I didn't want to have a target for myself. I wanted to help other people what they wanted to do.
Can you rank players from most to least importance of your game at this point? This is again right before that first mini challenge.
Okay, for my game. I'm gonna say honestly, my top three people again were Allison, Aliana, and Deb. Like I think I did the same exact thing in the confessional. Those three were at the top of my list. Just because I had talked to them the most and I felt really good. And I thought we had each other. Well, we did. We'll get to that. And then I will say Andrew, because Andrew was someone who I'm like, he's not lost, but this looks new to him. Like he looks like he's taking everything in. He's observant, and I like that. So I really wanted to connect with him more. Actually, I had Chad before him because Chad was really helpful in a lot of stuff and strategizing and stuff. And then Andrew, and then I have two more left, and then Jay West, and then Jess.
And then Kobe at the bottom.
Oh no, Jay West is at the bottom where he should be. I'm kidding. No, it was Chad, Andrew,
the violence.
Chad, Kobe, Andrew, because Kobe was really into it. So yeah.
So you had that first challenge. It does not go well for your tribe. You end up losing, and you're not going to tribal council night 2, but you're going to have it morning day 3. And so talk to me about the scramble and figuring out who you want to vote for, because I know things change, but it's interesting that like Deborah's someone you're pretty close to, but you do write her name down. So kind of walk me through the scramble here.
Oh, okay. This is where a lot of stuff starts. Like for my where a lot of stuff picks up for me, and I have to like really make some decisions and like think about stuff. But we get back to camp, and I talk to myself a lot, so I don't know if anyone around me walking back heard me talking to myself, but I was doing that like under my breath, and I was thinking like, okay, Juan, what's next? What do you do? How do you get yourself in a good position to not go home in the morning? So the first thing I was thinking is I want to talk to the girls. Like I want to see where their head is. And this is where I think Alice and Aliana, I don't know which one I talked to first, but it's been a while. But I talked to them and I'm like, what do we want to do? I want to do what's best for the three of us. Like that's the first thing that I told them. I want to do what's best for us to keep us in a good position. And right off the bat, no one was really giving a name because no one wanted to be the first one, right? And then, like I said, I pulled Kobe aside at one point. I think he was my first conversation, actually. I pulled Kobe aside and we were just talking like, what is your ideal vote? Like, what do you want to do? He was like really pushing for a name, really. But like I said, I didn't want to give a target. I wanted to help people with their target. So Juan's helping me out. Let's keep him around. So I talked to Kobe, and immediately, I don't think Kobe Inar's play style was like matching that like at that time, because I could tell he was a little frustrated by like how I was talking to him, because I would never say I want to do this. I would always say I want to be in a good position after this first try. Like I would kind of talk in riddles, because that's
Mhm.
like I don't want to give too much, but I don't want to give nothing. So like I thought I was being clear, but he was just like making faces and like, so what do you really want to do? And I'm just like, I want to see what people tell me. Like
Mhm.
I want to be brought in. He's like, all right, as long as it's not me. I'm like, why would I vote you, Kobe? Like, come on. And then later down the line, I started hearing, there's a guys alliance, and I go back to the girls, and I'm just like, what? Like, apparently there's a guys alliance, but I'm literally want to work with y'all, like y'all too. I don't talk to the guys. Like, I haven't talked to all of them. I haven't talked to Chad yet, as much. So that happened, and then Deb's name started coming up. And again, like I said, I've started hearing that from a lot of people, like from the guys, obviously, and then like Allison and Aliana were telling me Deb, and I remember vividly the three of us. I was like, "Is there anything else other than Deb? I don't want to vote Deb. Like she's been killing these challenges." And they were like, "No, I think that's where the majority of numbers are going to be." And so I'm like, "Well, this sucks because I don't want Deb to leave." And so I go to Deb, and I'm like, everyone is telling me you. I don't want to write your name down, but I don't want to be on the outs. Like I don't want to like mess myself up later in the game. And she was like, I understand. And this okay. And she was like, I understand if it's me. Like I understand why. And if it's me, and I'm fine with it. Um and but I don't want it to be me. And I'm like, okay, I don't want it to be you either. I'm gonna try and see if anyone else will say anything. And so I kind of go put feelers out and see if we can maybe do something else. Um, and so I think I did tell Jay West about that conversation I had with Deb. Um, and then I think that's where a lot of stuff went to Jay West telling people that Deb was fine with leaving. That is not what I said. All right. That's not what I said. What I said that Deb said she understands that if why people vote her, she's like the oldest woman, she's slow, like she understands those reasons, but she doesn't. And if that's the case, she's fine, but she doesn't want to go. Like I repeated it verbatim
So,
to him, and it just went everywhere.
so Juan, you're directly responsible for Jay West getting voted out, is what I'm hearing.
Well, maybe like no. Honestly, I didn't want Jay West to go either. I really I was conflicted because there were people I didn't want to go, anyone, but like I also knew someone had to go. So like it came back to me that Jay West was telling people that, and I'm like, and they were like, once Jay West is saying you said that was she was fine with leaving, and I'm like, no, that's not what I said, and we cleared it up. And so later that night,
Aliana saying, I had no idea you
yeah.
started this rumor. Jay West took the heat for it.
Yes. It was like I said, it wasn't a rumor. Deb never said she was fine with leaving. She said she understood if her name came up, and that was fine. But she didn't want to go. So but yeah, Jay West blew that out of proportion, and it got back to me, and I went back and to him later that night, and I was like, I was gonna try to tell it to him like in a way that wouldn't upset him, because he's a boisterous person. I don't know if that's the right word, but he's really he is a personality. So I didn't want to like piss him off, because that would have went wrong too. So we started talking, and he just wasn't getting it. And then I looked him in the face. I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, Jay West, I'm talking to you right now from like a real ass bitch. Like I'm talking to you from a real person perspective. He's like, all right. I said, my words, I said, you need to shut the fuck up. um, and I'm like, they are going to get you. I said, you keep telling everyone you want to be in the middle. You want to be the only guy voting with the girls. You can't put yourself there. They have to do it. And then he was like, and I was like, yeah, because everything you're saying, we're getting linked together, and it's going to come back on me. Like, you're like messing both of us up. Like, go to bed and be quiet. He was like, okay, okay, okay. I'll do that. He was like, and to show you that I'm sorry, I'll give you my bead. And I was like, no, I don't want your bead. Like, just, I want you to shut up. Like, I don't want you to get got. So, honestly, right there is when I should have realized, like, obviously he's in trouble, and I should have thought, but that's where that whole thing came from and where it led. It wasn't me like telling him like shut up. It was me like wanting to help him, like you're doing too much, and people are talking and they're catching on. So But after that point where he told everybody that I said that Deb wanted to go, I was like, yeah, I really don't want anything to do with him. Like he's twisting my words, everyone else's words. Somewhere between that time and that time, I had gotten Deb's bead. I got that like before tribal the next morning. Um, and I was telling her they're still telling me you, Deb. Like even though I'm blatantly telling everyone I don't want to vote you, they're just insistent that it's you. So I'm like, I'm gonna write your name down. Like, if you want to give me your bead, like you can, like it'll help protect me because I don't know if you're going home, and I'm trying my hardest. And she was like, "I'll give it to you, no problem, no questions asked." And she went and got it. And we went by like it was between tree mail and our banner, and someone is actually walking like up toward us as she throws it on the ground. I stepped on it and pretend I'm picking up twigs and like grab it from under my foot. No one saw it at all. Like and that was like day 2. Yeah. So I'm like, step 1 done. Got 2 beads. I feel like I'm missing something in between that. But yeah, we go to tribal. I'm still trying to tell people I don't want to vote Deb. Deb actually tells me, she's like, I have a plan. I was like, okay. She's like, I might have the numbers, but I don't know. She was like, would you vote for Jay West? She actually told me this. And I was like, if the girls tell me they're voting Jay West, I will, but they're still telling me you. Like me and Deb had the conversation. She knew like what everyone was telling me. So like they're still telling me you. If one of them tells me to vote Jay West, I will. No questions asked. Never happened. They still told me Deb. So I was like, I don't think it's working. We get to tribal. Um, I don't think this was the tribal I was an emotional wreck at, but I was visibly upset. Like I was just like, why are we voting Deb? And I still thought that was what everyone was doing. A confessional before this tribal, I was like, I don't want this to be a 5-4 vote. That's the worst thing that can happen to me. Like I need it to be like 6-3. I don't need it to be 5-4. Get to the tribal 5-4. I'm left out of the vote. I'm like confused because I was telling everyone, literally everyone, I don't want to vote Deb. I would do it anybody else. And then after that, people were just coming to me. I think it was mostly like Allison and Chad. They were coming, trying to explain, say, we wanted to tell you, but we didn't think we thought you were going to tell Jay West. Why would I tell Jay West after he already took my words, flipped them, and spread a lie around camp? And I was so vocal about that. Like, I don't want to vote Deb. Jay West has done this. That's not what I said. So people telling me that, I'm like, why do they think I would just tell him and blow up the plan? I want to work with y'all. I never said I wanted to work with Jay West, like to them. So like, that's when I knew that like, okay, the 2 people that I wanted to work with don't really want to work with me if they just blindsided me the first chance they got, right? Even though I was very open. So yeah, that happens. And that's basically when I really started to spring into action, but up here. But yeah, that just catapulted into a long pre-merge phase for me.
So, after being blindsided, I mean, are you able to repair things with Allison and Aliana at all, or are you just kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is an alliance I don't know if this is a real alliance.
Well, after it, in my head, I was like, okay. I was telling myself I understood why they didn't tell me, but at the end of the day, I didn't, because it like I didn't understand why they thought I would tell him, even though the people I said I wanted to work with was them. But I knew that I had to again play along, because if I step out or kind of make it known that I'm not with them anymore, I knew that they had other numbers, even though they just got rid of one, they still had other numbers, right? So I didn't want to stand out too much. So I had my conversations. I told them like it's fine. Like I was very open in telling y'all I didn't want to do Deb, but y'all insisted. But at the end of the day, Jay West was like, he was hurting my game in a way, because he already twisted my words and changed them. And even if it wasn't on purpose, because I get how what I said and what Deb said could sound like she doesn't want to, it still happened, you know? So I had to mend the fences. And I think this is where I kind of picked up with Jess, because I was like, I told Jess, I said, the 2 people who I really trusted, like lied to me. And I'm not saying this is why I'm talking to you, but like, Jess was like kind of the only person who didn't just straight up was lying to my face a lot of the time in merge. So like I was kind of, that's when I started really trying to build that relationship with Jess, because at the end of the day, maybe she could have seen use to me and not lie to me as much as I was from other people. But yeah, I definitely had to mend fences, especially um that's when me, Kobe, and Andrew were like, yo, we were just screwed over. Like we gotta stick together. So that's kind of when that started too.
So you win that second immunity challenge, hot pursuit. But then your third immunity challenge is the real foot leftovers that you have to toss the bean bags onto this floating plate and do some other stuff. That does not go well for your tribe.
hmm Um, Starting off that challenge, we were kind of doing good. Like I think we had at 1.5 beanbags on the thing, and the other tribe. How many did we have? 8 or 6? I think it was 8. Anyway, we had a lot of the beanbags on the thing, and the other tribe only had 2. And I'm like, oh, we are about to eat this. If we get to this puzzle before them, we're golden.
Mhm.
And then it just starts going downhill. Like I think, sorry, Jess, but when Jess got up there, we went from like 5 bags back to 1, and I'm just like, oh, like now we're behind. The other tribe is ahead of us, and I'm just like, okay, we got this. Um, I landed a few. I think we put Kobe up there. It was a pretty fun challenge, but um,
Yeah, Aliana
yeah,
confirming just knocking off 3 in one go.
yeah, I was like, get her off. Nah, but it was hard because it just was. But we lost it. We got to the puzzle actually, and we were getting it together. Like we if we'd have had at least 20, 30 more seconds, we would have gotten that past that puzzle faster than they got theirs. Like we were putting it together. But yeah, it sucked because you come off of a high of winning one, and
Mhm.
then you come off of a and it just going back to back, winning, losing, winning, losing. It's just really exciting, but like actually losing, you're like crap.
As a viewer, it was great. So thank you for your suffering.
Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that challenge on the way back, this is when like that core 4 was just they were like promising me like, look, this time it really is Deb. No funny business. And at that point, I'm furious. Like I am mad. I didn't show it obviously, but inside I'm just like this isn't good for me either. Like nothing would have been, but I'm just like, okay, as long as no funny business happens, I'm fine. I just want y'all to know that like I'm really working with y'all. So yeah, that scramble was hard. This is when I was talking to Deb, and she was like, I know it's me this time. She was fighting for her life. Good, good. I think some people actually started to scramble. Kobe's name was also brought up too, because I think that was an option too, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like both of them were just going back and forth, really fighting for their lives. And I'm just like, it's not me, but I need to make sure it's not me. So I, kind of kept the talks up, trying to still seem cool with Allie and Allison because I didn't want them to think Juan hates us now because we just blindsided him. I wanted them to think like, no, like I understand why you did it, but I don't care. Like Jay West is gone. Let's move forward. So yeah, it was honestly a pretty emotional couple hours or like hour because I think we only had like 45 minutes between that and the tribal, if I'm not mistaken.
Couple questions.
Yeah.
Did you give Deb her beat back, or what point did you do that?
No, I never gave it back. So after
Oh,
that first tribal, I told her I was like, um, they told me they were voting for you, so that's why I wrote your name. She's like, I know that they did that. It's fine. I'm not mad at you. And like I told her, I was like, if you want your beat back, I will give it back to you right now. She's like, and like she looked surprised, and she was like, oh, like for real? I'm like, yes, it's your bead. And she was like, you don't have to do that. Like I didn't expect you to want to give it back, but I'm like, yeah, I don't. It's yours. Like I just asked for it in case some shit went wrong and you left. Like me getting her bead wasn't me getting her bead to see her get voted out. It was honestly getting it in case something went wrong because no one was telling me what they were telling her. So it was
mhm.
just I wanted to ensure that if they were lying to me, I at least had a second bead. And she knew that. So yeah, she I never gave it back. I told her I would, and she was like, you can hold on to it. So I held on to it.
I'm curious how much the potential for swap is affecting your gameplay, right? Are you like saying, all right, well, we can vote Deborah out here. We'll be at 14. Maybe there's a swap coming up at like 14, 13 or so. Is that like something you're actively thinking and concerned about and playing around?
Yeah. Um we were at what number then you said? 14?
So going into the Deb vote, there's 16 players in the game. Deborah going out
Okay,
will leave 15.
15. Yeah, so definitely. I thought that it could because they have had three tribes before. So I'm like, there could be three tribes, right? Three tribes of five. One person goes exile or something, and two tribe, So I was like, there definitely could be a swap, but like you never know. So I was planning for it. I really wanted a swap after that first tribal day. Because I just knew that it wasn't going to work like in the ways I wanted to. But yeah, me actually voting out Deb was again um me kind of playing along because like I said, that first blindside, I knew that I was gonna have to do something soon, but it had to benefit me in the long run if I was gonna do it. So that tribal is when I think Kobe was really trying to push for rocks to go to rocks. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't come to put my game up to a chance in a game that already involves luck. So I was kind of like, I don't want to do rocks because if I go to rocks, I still just voted from the people that I'm still trying to mend bridges with. And if we lose a number, I'm even more screwed than if I just lose a number and still vote with them. Um, and also I didn't want to play an idol on like Deb or anybody because okay, Deb stays, we play an idol, we don't have an idol, they still have one, and that could mess me up in the long run, right? So like I needed to wait to the right moment to do something about that core group, and I didn't think then was the time. So I kind of turned Kobe down about um the rocks or voting Jess, and I'm like, no, like I'm like, I can't. Let's just play along right now and strike when we need to. So yeah,
Was that a mistake?
no, I don't think for me, I don't think it was a mistake. Because like I said, even if we would have gone to rocks, I think there was a greater possibility of me being a target before, even Kobe at that point. Because I didn't even know that Kobe and Allie had a relationship like they were talking about. So like I just wanted to keep myself in a position to where I had options. So I think rocks would just skew that too much for my liking, and you don't know what's going to happen. So I would rather go with something that I know what's going to happen. I can explain myself like, hey, I still voted with y'all. Like y'all told me Deb, I voted Deb. I didn't push back on any of it. I just wanted to control what came next for me as much as I could.
So you'll have the Sumo Sea Challenge, which your tribe will win. Who'd you go up against in that?
I I went up against Trav. I got slaughtered, which again, I I think on my tribe at least, I think I was so hungry compared to everyone else. Um, I didn't really like make it an issue. Like I didn't complain about it. Instead, I kind of was like, I want bacon all the time and like just saying random stuff. I kind of made it fun for me so it wouldn't bring me down, right? So I was really weak going into Sumo at sea. And we get out there on the platform, and before he says go, I blow a kiss at Trav. Kind of to just throw him off a little bit, but I think it did the opposite and activated something in him, and he literally demolished me like two pushes, two and three, I was gone. But yeah, I had no strength. Like I really didn't. I had ran so much in the challenges before, like the hot pursuit challenge. Like I was so tired. Like I had no strength at all in that challenge. After when I swam back, I had to lay down because my legs were. Oh no, that's a different challenge, but we'll get to that. But I was just weak, and yeah, I lost. I lost bad.
So start of day 4, you have an individual immunity challenge because both tribes are going to the tribal council, which can't be good news for you. Chad's going to win immunity. How does this round go for you? Because are you, Kobe, and Andrew still trying to make something happen together, or is that alliance kind of scattered at this point?
Um, so yes, I still wanted to work with those two. Because like obviously we knew that that group was there, and literally everybody that I was working with is just going away like one by one, and I'm just sitting here when's my time. Um, and I will say, I guess Chad thought I got Deb's bead at the tribal that Deb left. No, I already had it like for 2 days at that point, or a day at that point. She just hugged me for a really long time because I was an emotional wreck. I was crying that entire tribal. So I don't know if y'all will see that, but yo, and I never cry. Like I'm not an emotional person, but I
It
I
just takes
was.
some starvation and some sleep deprivation. It brings out of you.
Mhm. Right. So but yeah, I knew that the three of us had to stick together, but it would have taken a miracle to kind of have done something right there. Which we get back to camp. We lost the challenge. We get back to camp, and I'm just like in think mode in my head. I'm just sitting there drinking water, just staring, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I think that's when Chad is just like, so y'all, like, we have these beads, and I'm like, I already knew what was coming. I'm like, here we go. Who did this in Survivor? Whichever 40 something when he took the shots in the darks. I was like, this is just that. This is that. I knew what was happening, and I didn't say anything the whole time. I'm just sitting there drinking my water, and I see Kobe and Andrew. They're just like looking and staring, and then Allie is like, I'll give my bead to Chad," and then everyone else is like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and then Kobe's like, gives it to Chad, and then I think Allie looks at me and is like, "Juan, what do you think?" Me knowing that I have two beads, I'm just like, I don't want him to give him the Chad, and I'm just like, again, I have to play along. So I'm like, yeah, take a bead. I have another one. No one knows. So I'm like, take it. We're fine. And at that point, I'm just like, I can't make myself because if I would have said no, like I don't want to give you my bead, I very easily could have been gone instead of Kobe, right? So again, I had to play along until the moment was right. So I give him my bead, trusting that me and the relationships that I've had, like building with Jess, still trying to get in good with Allie and Allison and Aliana, and kind of having a little bit more small talks with Chad. I think we were talking, but it wasn't like a lot. It just, I don't know why it didn't. I think we were just wanting the same things from each other that we just kind of blocked it off. Like talking to Chad after the game, we have a very similar mindset of how we think. In my head, but I think it was just we just canceled each other out when we were trying to talk game with each other at first. So yeah, given the beads, and I'm just like, well, we don't got to idle now, so I got to keep this off of me as much as possible. So again, I try to butter up Allie and Allison, and kind of still make Kobe kind of on edge a little bit. Like I don't want him to be calm. I don't want people to. I want him to still kind of dig a hole for himself to help me. Did I want to see him go? No. So he brought up voting Jess with Allie, and I told Jess, I'm like, he wants to vote you, but I don't want to do that. I have no part in that. Even the last vote when they wanted to tie it, I had no part in that. I threw it down. So I like used all that to my advantage to try to keep the target off of me, right? So yeah, that's how that happened back at camp.
Yeah, because it comes it becomes pretty transparent to people basically tell Kobe, hey, you're going home.
Yeah. And again, he was still fighting. He wanted to like we can vote Jess, the whole Alley thing at tribal, say a number. And it just worked out that we were sitting right there, like all four of us were sitting right there on the left half of tribal. And Kobe's looking at me like, Juan, please vote Jess with me. I'm like, I can't, like I have to vote you. Which sucked because I didn't want to. Like I would have been fine voting Jess. I just knew if I had voted Jess, it would have fucked me up, you know? So
More than what happens next turn, anyways.
well, yeah, I think so. And I'll talk about that. But yeah, Kobe goes home. It was sad. Didn't like great guy, like all around great guy, honestly. Like he like the golden child of what a survivor player would look like, you know? Like I think he has it all. But yeah, he goes home. What challenge was after that? Was it the table maze?
You have you have the Outcast challenge, right? And so anything about that you want to talk about?
Outcast challenge was fun. As soon as I saw like, oh, we have to not touch the wall and like reach through, I'm like, yeah, they're about to put me on this reaching part. And like, how do I tie knots? Good thing we had Andrew, right? He literally showed me how to tie the knot as I was tying it, or on the walk there, and when I was tying it. I thought we had that challenge in the bag because we could start a fire. We have someone who knows how to tie knots. And I got a good reach. I have good balance. I can get that thing off. And we do that first part pretty fast. Like we were the first tribe through like that really, because I only had to tie one knot. It stayed. I got it off. I dropped it as I was pulling it back, but I just scooped it in.
Mhm.
And I was taking my time untying the door because I saw both tribes were literally still trying to tie their bamboo stalks together. Um, so yeah, that challenge is fun. We would have won that challenge in the first 5 minutes had it not been windy. Because we got about 30 fires started literally before Purple Tribe even got out of their thing. So like I just thought we had it in the bag. And then it starts getting hard. And a funny moment here is when I think it was Trav who was like going in other people's cages, stealing stuff, and that was funny. And Jay West was talking crap as always. And then he was like, "I thought you were going to throw it," and I was like, "Well, the only thing we throw over here is ass." So like, it's just a lot of funny moments in that challenge. But thankfully, we end up winning after like a lot of different things from Pride because they were like, "This is taking too long," like, So yeah, we ended up winning by the skin of our teeth because they would have like we got something to help us really start the fire, and I don't know how they just didn't get it at that point, but we win, so that was great. No tribal for us.
However, you have the ball challenge next.
uh this challenge, we thought we had that in the bag. Like we had two balls in and done before they even had one. I think they were on their first one as we finished the second one. And yeah, we just fell behind. Aliana, great at that thing. I think the way it was made, the string kept getting stuck, so she couldn't really go back down or maneuver it a certain way after a certain point. So she says. But yeah, when we lost that one, I was actually scared. Like I'm like, okay, I have feeling it's me because they were always talking about how Andrew was someone who they really trusted because he didn't know much about the game and he's so loyal. And like I never got that. Like I, got blindsided. I got told different things, and like I'm like, okay, I see this is where this is going. When I got back to camp, I think the first thing I told Andrew, I said to myself, I said, this is where I have to tell Andrew, like I have the other two idols, two pieces, and I need a third one. Like this is the only way to save ourselves. So I pull him in. I was like, look, Andrew, because you always want to start the conversation with wanting them to feel like it's something they want to do, right? So I started the conversation. I was like, look, we're obviously on the bottom here, and I want both of us to make it to the next phase of this game. Like a swap emerge is about to happen after this. So I want us both here because we've been literally on the bottom since day one. I'm like, I have Deb speed. And he was like, huh? I was like, I have Deb speed. If you give me yours, like we'll have an idol and we're great. Like that's all we need. And then he's like, would you play it on me? I'm like, yes, I will play it on either one of us if we need it. Like, well, we are going to need it. So like I would literally play it on either one of us because I think with the information we're both getting, we'll kind of know like what the target is. And he gives it to me. There's that clip out there of him giving it to me, and I'm like looking at the camera. And again, that's not me being like, yes, now I can vote him out. It was kind of me being like, got it. Like something off the checklist is about to get checked off. So yeah, that's how that came about. And I'm like, this is great. I feel like they were going to vote me anyway. Again, because duh, like they had been talking Andrew up so much. And we're walking into tribal. I'm telling them like, yeah, I'll vote for Andrew, and like I want to be with y'all, blah 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 blah. All that good stuff. We go to tribal. I'm literally ringing the gong. I get the gonger. I ring it. Allison looks up. Not Allison. Yes, Allison looks at me and she says, "You have the beads, right?" I said, "Huh?" I literally stopped. I said, "Huh?" And she's like, "I'm like, what are you talking about? Who are you voting?" She said, "I'm voting you." And I said, "Oh." I'm like, "Okay, that confirmed to me that they were voting me, or that at least she was." And then I look at Andrew because he was right behind her, and he like looks at me and like looks down, and I'm just like, here we go. Here we go. Let's go. And then we get into tribal. at this point, it comes up that I had an idol, have the 3 beads. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Andrew said something about it, and then Chad asked me, "Do you really have it?" And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, he's already told people that I have it. Like, they're gonna split the votes now because they're not gonna want to get rid of them. So I'm just like, yeah, I got it. Because at this point, I'm like, I don't care. Like, the move I needed to make was right there for one of them to get out. That it wouldn't have a really bad effect on me going down the road, and that was the only time. And I was like, at least I'm still here. We'll deal with it later.
Mhm.
Um, Play the idol. I'm just like flabbergasted. Mostly at Andrew. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, now I'm really screwed. I don't have an idol. The last person who really could have worked with me and have no allegiances to the other side really is gone. They have an idol, and I'm alone with people that have been against, well, I won't say against me, but against me since the beginning. So yeah, I get back to camp. I'm mad. I'm pissed. Like, I think I get back there, and one of the tribe handlers, Trinica, was like, "You want to go for confessional?" I was like, "No, I need a minute." I was like, "No." I took a chair, walked it away, faced away from the camp, and just sat there for a good like 20 minutes, just calming myself down. Because honestly, had I had talked to anyone at that point, I probably would have cussed everybody out at that tribe. Because I was just so fuming, and I knew that I couldn't do that. So I'm like, let me just get away, take a second, and breathe. Um, so that happened, and I was again talking through myself of what I wanted to do and how I was going to get past this because I'm at that point. I'm on borrowed time. I know, like I have nothing left, no advantages, no powers. They don't trust me. That like I'm screwed. So um, that night, I still was mad. I think it was nighttime after that tribal by that point. So I came back, did my confessional. I went back and I'm like, you know what? I've stayed up every night, all night, tending to the fire. I'm not doing that tonight. I'm getting rest. So I get the hammock. I'm looking for the blankets because I'm like, I'm gonna be warm too. I'm getting the biggest blanket we got. Um, and I think someone was like, Juan, what are you looking for? I said nothing. Found the blanket, like, yep, grab that, put it in the hammock, filled up my water. I even grabbed a flashlight. I'm like, I'm taking a flashlight too. And I said, good night. Whatever I want to do it. One of my best parts that night was waking up around like 3, 4 a.m. I don't know what time it is. And hearing them like like shivering. I open the hammock and I see that the fire's out and I'm like, go back to sleep. I'm like, well, fuck with me, I'm gonna fuck with y'all. Good night. I got me a good 8, 9 hours of sleep that night. Like I felt great the next morning.
So was it Andrew then that told the other side like you had an idol? Was that the new?
Yeah, he told. I don't know who he told exactly, but I knew he told Allison. I don't know if he told Jess. I heard that he told Jess, but again, I just thought that like it's over. Like even if I wouldn't have like taken the other beads out in my head, they're still splitting the votes because they
Yeah.
know, right? So, and even I was even surprised that when Andrew was like, "Y'all vote for me," and I think if you on TikTok, there's a clip of me like slow turning and looking at him like, "What are you doing?" Like yeah, I was over it. But he told him, and then he just ends up voting for me. I mean, and in my head, I'm like, I mean, it's still a good idol play. Like I didn't go home. Like I would have gone home if it tied on me. But I'm just like, it just ruined. Like if the
Mhm.
anticipation was just gone, and I'm just like, damn, this is why I don't trust men.
So looking at your pre-merge, is there anything you could have done differently to avoid kind of where you're at, where it's just you and this alliance of four?
I mean, yes, like I said, like we could have played an idol on Deb, could have played an idol on Kobe when we got those pieces back at Tribal, and it was me and Andrew. But like, at the end of the day, I still think that no matter what, it still would have been that four. Like I still think they had the opportunity to have Andrew flip with them, and him kind of doing that when he left, kind of proved it to me. Like I don't know if he would have, but like I felt like they would have had a grasp on him and he would have voted me out because they wanted to keep him so bad, you know? So like I felt like it had I done something earlier, I would have been gone. Like that I still think that today. Like I would have been gone at that point where I played the idol had I done something earlier, you know? So
So it was just never a good tribe for you to be on, or this Alliance 4 was just so locked together you just couldn't break in.
They were just so locked. I tried with Jess, and I think she kind of broke a little bit. Like I think she wanted to, but like she was just so locked in. Allison and Allie, I knew that at least with and that's why I never voted Allison and Allie. I always voted like Chad or was going to do Jess because I still didn't want them to think I was against them. But like they were just so locked in already that I don't think there was a crack for me to get in. Like I was always going to be on the outside of it and never in it, which is fine. Like I kind of wanted to not be on the high position, so I had a place to work up to, and I worked up to it all right, but I was just stuck. Which is fine.
In the final tribal immunity challenge, did you consider that your tribe may throw it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. When I tell you I wanted a swap so bad, I did not want to do another challenge that day. I'm like, we're either swapping or we're merging. No challenge, please. Like, um, yeah, we got to there. I don't think I walked in. I think the other tribe, they were kind of looking like I think they knew I was already on the bottom a lot of the time, like from the beginning, because like just how I always look defeated. I wanted them like I kind of wanted to look low and down when we walked in, just so they're like, one's body language is different from the other five
Mhm.
people behind him. So I was kind of communicating that way too with the other tribe. But I knew that I thought that they were gonna throw because of four alliance, me, they knew they couldn't trust me at all. So we have one more challenge, the perfect time to throw, get me out, right? And I think after the game, Allie even told me that she wanted to throw to do that. Because why not, right? And so I think that whole time where the challenge is being explained, I'm just standing there like this, just focused, ready to go. And then someone was like, Juan, are you good? I'm like, just focus, just want to win. I don't know who asked me, but I was just so locked in. I didn't ask questions. I was just like ready. I'm like, I want to win, right? I even got put in the blindfolded part. Well, no, we were all blindfolded. So like that even added to the fact that they're gonna throw this. Like, but
Allie, like confirming that she absolutely wanted to throw it.
yes, and thanks to Chad for having a heart and saying let's try because like he said he didn't want to just throw it away, like throw someone's opportunity out like that, which I appreciate, I really do. But like they could have very easily thrown it and got me out. Like I said, I would have expected it. I was on borrowed time. It would have been 4-1 vote. So like, but we won. We won.
So the battle back occurs. One player is coming back in the game. Who did you want or not want to see come back in?
I wanted anybody to come in. I didn't care. I wanted anyone on that outcast camp to come back in because I felt like anybody coming in was maybe not a number for me, but a route for me to take.
Mhm.
Because obviously they know about everything that's happened at both camps. So like everyone there is going to know one was on the bottom of the four people that are left. So like I was ready for anybody to come back. I wanted mostly honestly, even after what he did, mostly Andrew to come back because I just thought like I didn't want him to go out like that, but I was still mad. So like
Mhm.
Colby would have like anybody would have been great for me, honestly. Like literally anybody.
So Nina comes back in the game. You have reached. You have your merged feast. How is actually getting some food?
I think I was probably the most excited for food. I think I was because I had always been like food, 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 bacon. Like I want, I have no body fat, so like I'm just out there skin and bones. It's not that bad, obviously, but I wanted food. So I had a time like big plate of spaghetti, salad. Um, Closer to the end, I was turning up the champagne bottles because no one's like, I don't want it. I'm like, I'll take it. Like, yeah. But it was good. I think I sat by Lachey, Chad. I don't remember who was in front of me, but no, yeah. It was great. I was looking around, trying to spot for advantages, kind of watching how people were interacting. But most of it, I was focused on the food because I needed it. And I was thinking about how am I going to get to this next phase of the game. Like I was excited because out of anybody, I needed that merge. I needed some kind of dynamic shift
Mhm.
because, like I said, one more tribal, I was out the game.
So what is your strategy coming into this merge?
um, my strategy coming into the merge was throw all of them under the bus. Yep, tell everything. no stone goes unturned, no good deed goes unpunished. Like whatever Elphaba said, yeah, I was airing everything out from day one to 2 minutes ago. And I did. As soon as I got there, I think it was what Brandon, Lachey, Isaiah. I eventually got to everybody else. I was like, this is what's happened. I played an idol from day one. This four has been together. It's Allison and Allie, Chad and Jess. They're together. They're like two duos, but they're not going to vote each other. Like I was spilling everything. Like this is how I got the bead. This is what happened. This is what they told. Like everything that happened those first 4 days, I told everybody on that tribe. I was like, why not? Maybe except I told Nina a little bit, but she didn't really talk to me much.
Really, because I from the way you're describing, I thought like the Nino would be a key player you want to talk to because you're just like, I need that redemption player to come in.
Yes, like I talked to her, but like there wasn't a lot of like info coming back as it was from like Brandon, Lachey, Isaiah, um, like Nina and Jalen really didn't give me as much as I gave them. I think, like if I remember correctly. Again, I could be misremembering, but like I just felt like Brandon, Lachey, Isaiah, even Rob to a little bit, like they all kind of were like giving me like a lot back. But those two, they really didn't. And I get why, because they were in a position to, well, mostly Nina was like, she kind of wants to do the same thing, work with her OG tribe, but not get too involved with Orange because she doesn't know like what's going to really happen with her. So I get it. But like I said, I was going in. I wanted to flip immediately. That wasn't a question at all. Like, yes, I'm flipping. But I wanted to go about it to where my Orange tribe still kind of needed to tell me what was going on. So I was kind of leveraging that. And I think I told Lachey, I was like, look, they're gonna need me. They're like whatever plan they need, they need me, right? So like I will tell y'all what's happening, like what they're thinking about doing, and but keep what y'all are doing to myself because I owe them nothing. Like I think I told them all that, and like I said, I told everything. I didn't care, gave didn't give a single care in the world.
And Aliana confirming that's why she wanted to throw the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Like y'all should have, but like that would have sucked. That would have been like shitty. But like yeah, I if I was in your shoes, I would want to throw it too. But yeah, I everything that y'all told me, yep, told them. 4-person alliance, told them. Lying to Kobe, well, not Kobe, but like leading Kobe on and the blunt, told them. Like I told everything. But I didn't really include Jess in it because I still at that point wanted to try to work with Jess. I mostly framed it as like Allie, Allison, and Chad really leading it, but Chad and Jess are close.
So talking about that first individual mini challenge, this is the push me pull you where you're suspending an iron bar with kind of with two handles.
Yeah, so that challenge, I was kind of excited for like a type of endurance challenge like that because I know I kind of have arm strength for my job. Like I kind of teach color guard and we work a lot of those muscles. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna do good. I could win, but I feel like there's, you can't really gauge that competition because over time you get tired. Um, it was a fun challenge. I was doing good. I don't think my bar moved a lot, maybe like once. And then I started leaning back to kind of take the pressure off of my shoulders. And I leaned back too far that my hands dropped below like parallel. So it kind of tilted. So I was out. So it was a fun challenge. I should have used the push and pull method that what's his name did from
Chad.
yeah, no, from Real Survivor. I forgot who did it.
Oh.
But he used the push, he pushed one in and pulled the other. And it helped him stay up there. But Chad was a beast at that. Yeah. And Allison was a beast at that. Like, it was a good challenge though.
So you want to turn on Orange, but you're still kind of keeping connections open so you can hear what their plans are. Who did you want to see go home this tribal council?
Anybody that had an orange buff from the last 4 or 5 days. Yeah, that's why I wanted to go home. Did I honestly wanted, I don't know if I told Purple this, but I was like, you can vote. I will help you vote all of them out. Get me out at 6. I don't care if it's all Purple at the end. At this point, they can all go. Like I did not care at all. Like I wanted them to use me to vote all of them out back to back. But yeah, I anybody, mostly Allie. I really did want Allie to leave, mostly because I felt more just more backstabbed by her. Like I feel like a lot of unnecessary stuff was said to me to get me closer to her, which she really didn't need it because I was already close to her, right? I was already like really with her and that. So I didn't see it as like it didn't hurt me like emotionally. It really did, but I was just like, like it hurts game wise because like you were the one person, like really one of the one people that I wanted to work with, and it's just not working out. A lot of lies, all that stuff. So my targets were like honestly Allie and Allison, but I knew Allison would have been a hard one to get because I learned about like her connections with people in the other tribe. So I'm like, Allie, 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 Allie. And I told them the purple tribe was telling me, you will flip with us. I'm like 100%. Like, why would I not? And I think that whole time I told them I will vote Allie. And they're telling me the same thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we're voting Allie. And then like later in the day, they were like, just vote someone from your tribe. And I'm just like, are we not voting Allie again? I'm like, I'm still gonna vote Allie. I don't know what y'all are doing. I'm voting Allie. Let's keep it that way. Let's get one of them out. I will put an XOXO on it. Done, deal, signed, seal delivered. And my tribe, on the other hand, we're talking about playing an idol. And are we at that tribal? Yeah, about
Yeah,
playing an
this is
idol.
the first tribal council.
Yeah, and so I knew that they gave the idol to Jess. Like I knew that Jess was going to play the idol, and that you know they think that they're that vote. I didn't know that they knew that Jess was going to be the vote. I didn't get that information. So in my head, the only thing that I was thinking, Jess is about to flush an idol. Perfect. We're voting Aliana. Perfect. I know that they're splitting between Isaiah and Lachey. I told Isaiah and Lachey that. I didn't know who exactly was going to get the most votes, but like it didn't matter if I was voting with all of them. So I was like, wasted idol. One of them goes. I'm golden. I'm in a good spot now. Like I just gained some new allies from purple, and then we get the tribal council, and Jess plays the idol. They look shocked, purple, and then Brandon gets up. And beforehand, Chad walking in a tribal told me like we're changing it to Lachey. And me, I'm just like perfect, fine with me, because I'm still thinking we're all voting Allie. And the votes come out, and Brandon plays it on himself, the idol. I almost told him play it on Lachey, but I didn't because I was still in a tricky spot of my tribe could still be lying to me. And I know that we're voting Allie. So like I just didn't want to do too much right there. I should have, but it comes out and I see Lachey votes and I see only 2 Allie votes. And I'm like, why? Like, why does the universe hate me so much? Because again, that was the time for me to do something about that and get a better spot in the game. And I'm going to say the people who should have just gone along with that and trusted me didn't. And I get why they didn't, but yeah, it was just another moment of like, why?
So Lachey goes out of the game. This goes to your second individual meeting challenge. This is the will it go round where you're kind of swirling the ball in the circle. How does this challenge go for you?
Oh, perfect. Another challenge that I'm like, I'm made for this challenge. Like the same muscle groups that I work in my job. Like I've done 500.
You're doing like the motion right now.
Yeah, like I literally, these are the same arm muscles that I do like every day when I train kids to use them. Like I got this. Like I'm a professional. It ended up being me and Isaiah. Like I'm trying to telepathically tell him like I need this. Like hello. And we go for a while. And honestly, I could have gone all night. But again, the universe has a tricky way of saying it hates me. As soon as we start, it starts raining. And with that, I have on glasses, right? So the whole challenge, they just start sliding down and sliding down. And it comes to a point where, again, it's me and Isaiah. At this point, my glasses are like on the tip of my nose. And like, I'm trying to keep my focus on this because he's like inconsistent with his spins. I can hear it. I can kind of feel like hear people saying, "Don't slow down, Isaiah." I think it was Allie running for Isaiah. Anyway, and for one split second, like my body just like I just pushed my face up to kind of push my glasses up. It just happens. It was just like a reaction that my body had because my glasses were like here. And I dropped it, and I was like, "Well, this is about to be a hard one." So yeah.
So you would think that if you're still flipping to purple and they're all voting together, you should be okay, theoretically.
Yes, you think that. But I thought that last time. I thought that when me and Andrew literally had the best plan to have them all vote for me, we vote one of them out. I thought a lot in this game that just never went through. So yeah, I get back to camp. I immediately, again, I want to, because at the point it was 5-5. So I'm like, okay, this is a good time. I still want them. Well, I had just voted against Allie, so I'm like, it's fractured a little bit. They obviously know I want to flip on them, but in a way, they still kind of need me, which they really didn't. But like, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I have this spot to like still get information, but still give information to Purple. And I told them, I'm like, why? I'm like, why did y'all not just vote Allie like we said? And they're like, well, we didn't want to tell you in case you were still working with them. I'm like, why would I still be working with them? Like, hello. Um, so I guess they wanted a backup plan for their plan, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to do anything. Like me and Rob have conversations, and he's like, "Look, both of us on the bottom. We need to stick together." I'm like, "Yes, 100%." My tribe tells me Nina, which again at that point I'm just like, I don't believe anything they tell me. Like I never did, so I'm just like, okay, yeah. And then Purple Tribe, they weren't telling me anything. They were just saying vote for someone on your tribe. And I'm just like,
Again.
what sense? Yes, I'm just like, what sense does that make? I'm literally standing here saying, hey, I want these four orange people out of this game. Like, they're ops at this point. And they're like,
Mhm.
as long as you vote with someone on your tribe, you're fine. I'm just like, and then like people go off and talk, and I'm just sitting there like looking at everybody talking. I'm just like, this is it, isn't it? I'm just like, I like, what more can I do? Like, than I've already done. So like, yeah, I still didn't think I was going home at that point, but I'm just like feeling like this is this is crazy. Like, why am I in a position where I come in on a 5-person tribe? I'm literally the fifth. It's so obvious. I played an idol to literally try to blindside the four. Everyone knows that. I tell them everything, and I'm still being told, just vote somebody on your tribe. Like, I, I'm just like, I guess I'll go with my OG tribe. At least they're telling me a name. At least they're telling me Nina.
Mhm.
So like I go to tribal, like I think Chad's like walking with me in the back and was like, "You're still doing Nina, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I have nothing else to do. Like I have nothing to go off of. And so um it never really like clicked that I was going home, but like like I knew in the back of my head because like hello, like what else? So get the tribal, the votes come out, and I saw the first one. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone. Because at first I thought what I had thought happened was that it really was a 5-4-1 vote or something like whatever the numbers was. And I thought that me voting Nina kept it from tying because I wasn't really paying attention to the
Yeah.
count because I couldn't because my brain was literally mush. But I thought that I was the reason I went home because I was the reason it didn't tie. And I would have stayed in a tie, which was the plan, but
Mhm.
you know, didn't happen.
Well, what feels worse, the fact that they didn't tell you the name, or the fact they voted Aliana and you couldn't vote Aliana with them?
Both, both, because like, why did y'all not just do that the first time, like last round, right? And then on the other hand, why didn't you just tell me Aliana? I just didn't understand. Like and I would say that I understand like why they wouldn't tell me, but no, at that point I don't get why I was still being questioned about working with Purple. Like in my head, I still try even after all these podcasts where um everyone has talked about it. I'm just like I still don't understand why y'all think I wouldn't do that and just tell them. Like it doesn't make sense for me to tell them anything if I'm being honest. So yeah, but everything made me mad about it. But now knowing that I think it was Nina's that I listened to, and she was like, "Yeah, the guys on Purple just wanted to go to Rock so bad, so I just flipped, and the next best thing was Juan because it was easy. Vote Nina
Yeah.
and go to Rock."
Chad kind of confirming he went in the tribal, thinking he was going to vote Nina, and then he got the plan was sprung on him last minute. Oh, we're voting Juan. He's like, all right.
Yeah, and and honestly, I did believe that they were gonna vote Nina, and I think it was like Nina coming in at that last second, the travel before, kind of helping, like, and the girls, they like just solidified it, and like it made sense for Allie and Allison to vote me, right? But like for everyone else, even Chad, it made sense. But like for everyone else, I'm just like, hello, like, hello, like, open your eyes. But yeah, like, and it was that point where I really was, excuse me, starting to trust Chad. Like, at the merge, I was like, okay, I really do like Chad, and we had to talk. We built the our little outhouse in the woods, and we really didn't want to sleep in that shelter.
Yeah. Well, Chad's saying uh, he really enjoyed building the second guest test shelter with you.
Yeah.
Day 5.
Yeah, and it was fun. I think we had a really good conversation, and honestly, I felt like if that would have happened the first day when we were building our shelter, it would have been a completely different game, which I tried to make it happen. I think we both did. It was just really, it just didn't click. I don't, maybe because he already had that formed with his
Mm-hmm.
core group, and he kind of didn't want to, you know, make too many inroads too soon. But yeah, I really did start to trust Chad at that point. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can do something with Chad and Jess. But again, it just didn't work out. And, you know, at least my vote was a blind side. At least I wasn't just like, you know, I'm happy with that.
And, yeah. So, would you rather go out knowing you're going out, or to be blindsided on the way out?
Honestly, I'd rather be blindsided because I would rather want someone to think they have to blindside me than just be like, Juan, we're voting you out. You know, like, why? Because I think it's just fun that way. I think it's fun to leave by a blindside because, like, at that point, I was still putting in work. I was still doing what I can to, you know, get my position better. And then, like, seeing those Juan votes, I was like, finally got me. You know, like, finally got me. But I would prefer a blindside, but don't. If I told you in future seasons, no, I don't. Tell me.
And so, like, I have to assume, had you won the, I don't know what would happen had you won immunity this round. Do you have any idea what would have gone down instead?
Oh, honestly, had I won that immunity, I thought I was a lock in for like a deeper run in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think at that point, the other side really probably wouldn't have had as much trouble as they did trusting me. Um, do I think I I don't know what would have happened because on one side you hear that the girls didn't want another woman to go home, and on the other side it's that, but some of the girls are also close to Isaiah, and also Chad was close to Isaiah. So at first I was like, maybe Isaiah leaves there instead of me, but I do think Allie probably would have left at that point for real. Yeah,
Elliot agrees. Just like the short-lived women's alliance was made by offering you up.
yeah. And at that point, yeah, I definitely would have pushed Allie 100%. Actually, I would have been like, y'all pick the choice. You didn't want to do the first two times I wanted to do it. Tell me which I wanted. Like, I don't know what I would have done, but I probably wouldn't have voted for Chad after that point or Jess, because like I said, they really didn't upset me as much as Allison and Allie upset me throughout that game. So like, yeah, I it would have been one of them for me. And I think I don't know why in my bones, I just feel like I would have gotten at least like 6. I don't know why that. Just like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I could have had a deeper run in the game had I survived that one. And honestly, had Lachey stayed, I think I would have been, because Allie would have been gone at that point, and I think knowing that Rob wanted to work with me, I don't know. A lot of things could have happened, and I think about it daily.
Is there anything else you think you could have done to maybe change your fate in the merge?
To win that immunity, honestly,
I
that's
mean,
it. I
yeah.
not wore my glasses. And it's funny because the morning before I left, I have like a sports strap that I usually wear on my glasses. And it was like, it was really old and like kind of almost broken. And I was just like, I don't need it. And it would have came in handy in that competition because my glasses wouldn't have been on my nose. But yeah, I don't think there's really anything I could, like, I think honestly I did all the right things. They just got messed up by other people, or no, that's it, by other outside things. So like, I think me waiting to play an idol at that point, at that pre-jury when it was me and Andrew, I think that was the best thing to do. But again, it got messed up. I think me flipping at merge was the best thing to do, but the other side just didn't trust me. You know, so like I don't think there's anything else I really would have done differently. Like I think a lot of things that happened and where I ended up where I was. I'm not saying I'm not blaming myself because, you know, obviously there are things I could have done, but just looking at how things played out, I just think that had circumstances been different throughout, like certain things would have happened. Like maybe if they did tell me they were voting Jay West and I actually voted, like things like that could have been different. So yeah.
Maybe you get the beads, you let yourself get voted out, you win the redemption challenge, you re-enter the game with an idol in your pockets. But that's like threading an eye
Maybe.
of a needle.
Yeah. Like when I first got voted out, I really did like I was doubting myself. I'm like, I was trash. Like I played an idol, but it was worthless because it got, you know, soiled. I lost this immunity challenge that I should have won that would have kept, like I was hard on myself. Like I think I was talking to, what was it, Danny, and I was like, you can tell me I sucked. He was like, what? So yeah, I was hard. But then like after that, after the first few hours in the jury house talking to Lachey, and I'm like, I kind of did eat. I just got fucked up like by other things that would have otherwise been like, you know, good moves for me. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Talk to me about your philosophy as a juror. What do you want to see in a winner?
I think I said this in the jury roundtable. I wanted confidence. Like I think I'm a very confident person, even when I play it off that I'm not. Like I was always raised to be like, you know what's right for yourself, and like, you know, just a big
Mhm.
confident person, like big Libra Leo energy. Um and I just wanted to see that. And I know my jury question, it was, thinking about it, I'm like, it's a little cringy, but like for me, I didn't really need to hear the speeches because like I had seen Allison's game the whole time. I did listen to the speeches, though I will say that I did listen. And not Chad, Rob's game, like I didn't really see it from the pre-jury, but like I saw a lot of it as the jury was coming in and as they were telling me about it. But I just want to see confidence. That's why I was like, close your eyes, raise your hand if you think you're getting this vote.
Mhm.
Um, and did I want to see someone raise their hand for everybody? Yeah, like I did, but you know, sometimes that also needs an explanation. And I guess that's what was missing for other people with Allison. But I loved it. I thought Allison had a great tribal. I thought Rob had a really, like, Rob almost got me when he was like, when he brought back the story about um I forgot how he phrased it, but it was like saving, like do what the story set out to do initially, where the snake saved the spider or something, whatever.
Mhm.
Or when the spider saved the snake or
Let the
whatever he
spider
said.
me devour the snake, Allison.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, I was like, oh, girl, get up. Like he kind of ate with that one, and I've never seen that side of Chad, but not. I keep calling Chad, Rob. I don't know why. Maybe they both should just call me. Anyway, um, no, I was impressed by both of their, and I thought FTC was going to be a closer vote, honestly. But I was super proud of both of them, and I thought I got what I wanted from both of them. And initially, me voting for Allison throughout that whole game, I was so mad at her. I was so like all the pre-jury, all of, even when I got voted out, up until, I'll be honest, up until Chad left the game, I was so upset and so pissed at Allison just because I'm like, you just kind of use me, which I get that's the game, and I'll explain that. Like, not I won't say use me, but like she just gave me all these promises, but then it just ended up just being excuses after the promises were broken. And I think there was even a conversation me and her had where I like we were talking and I just was fed up and I just walked away. Like I just turned around and walked away and was like, I'm done with this. And she's like, Juan, wait. And I turned back around. I think this was after, it was after the when I played the idol. I think it was that vote, maybe. No, either that or the Deb one. I don't know, but it happens. But yeah, I was just really upset. But like at the final tribal, like I see, like I understood what her game was and like why she did what she did. She was ultimately the person in the very center, and like I just appreciated her game. She did what I wanted to do, right? So I appreciated it. And like I said, I came into the game wanting to work with a woman. So like why would I not vote for a woman to win? Like, hello?
How was the after party for you?
Oh, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I honestly, I had done my share of thinking about the game. I was just ready to hang out with everybody, um, the staff, the everybody around, and just like have fun, forget about the game and kind of just bond with people, make jokes about what happened. So I had fun. I had a lot of tequila. And yeah, I was just enjoying like everybody smelling good.
Did anything surprise you about the progression of the game, or as you're watching from the jury?
um, the only thing that surprised me, there were a couple things that surprised me. It was one of the another swimming challenge where I think I saw Isaiah helping Rob with a challenge, and I'm just like, why are you helping Rob in a swimming challenge when he's the best swimmer? Like I'm confused, and Brandon's right there, and that was ultimately the tribal that Isaiah went home, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I think it was at least, it was when they swam and did the memory challenge and ran back.
It is. As
Yeah,
the round Isaiah is eliminated and Robin because Robin's immunity.
I was sitting in that chair watching him. I was like, you got to be kidding me, Lee. I'm like, why are you helping the best swimmer? And then Rob ended up winning, and I'm just like, oh my god. So that surprised me, and it also surprised me when they didn't vote Rob out after Nina won that final five, I think final five comp, and I'm like,
The final six puzzle challenge, yeah.
final six, yeah. I'm like, oh, Rob's a goner, and I'm like, and I think I said this to the jury. I said the only person that Rob benefits by staying is Chad. And then when Rob didn't leave, I was like, Chad's a mastermind. I'm like, this man is winning this game. It's only good for him, right? Because he was the next biggest threat, and I think that they also had a relationship. So like it, I thought Chad had it in the bag, honestly, when Rob stayed.
Mhm.
But that surprised me when he did stay.
So what is your takeaway from this experience been?
My takeaway from the experience is that I went okay. So I went into the game like this is my first Survivor LRG. I even call it my first LRG, right? I know I played Synergy, but like I was out day one and I was literally just chilling in the house the rest of the weekend. So I love Synergy. I do for always love that game, but I would say Reelfoot is like my first real like full experience LRG. Um, and it was everything I wanted and more because I came into it like I said from minis and from orgs and from online, winning those, like doing really good in those, and I was like, okay, the next step is testing myself like in person. Like, can I take what I've done from winning these online games in person just by adding a different element? And personally, I think I did. Like I said, I was proud of my game. Like I played an idol. I helped my tribe win challenges. Like I think I was in a position in the game where I wanted to be not on the top, but not on the. I mean, I guess I was on the very bottom at one point, but like I was in that position to where, had things gone right in that merge, I would have been in between two groups, kind of figuring out, kind of like how Cass was and Kage.
Everyone's
Yeah.
favorite player they compare themselves to, Chaos Cast. There we go.
But like kind of how she was in the beginnings of the game where she kind of like flipped back and forth between the two alliances, like that's how I kind of want it to be at the merge. But I feel like I did good. Like I think I did good socially. I think did good physically and strategically for my game, for like what I was presented. So like I definitely took away the want to do it again. Like I think I was in the car with production going to the gas station after I voted out, and I was just like, what's next? Like I was like, I just played the longest one, so like what do I go to now? So I just want to do another one. That's what I take from it, and I appreciate everything that went into it. And best time I had in my life so far. Like I had so much fun.
Is there anything else with the game you want to talk about?
Um, trying to see if there's something that I didn't say. I never told anyone this, but I actually studied psychology and chemical engineering in college. Um, didn't finish school because of COVID, and I kind of took a break, and I haven't gone back. But that's in the works. But yeah, like I'm really a smart cookie, and as Jay West probably wouldn't agree, there's a strategic mind up here. It might be different than what you think is a strategic mind, but everything I do say, like every step, I'm thinking about why I do it and how people are going to react to it. That's always my first thought. Like, how can I benefit other people to make them want me around? So, yeah, yeah, I, I played my heart out.
Well, I have a couple of wrap-up questions for you then.
Let's go.
What is one piece of advice if you can give yourself one piece of advice, go back in time and give it before you played the game, what would you tell yourself?
One piece of advice that I would give myself. That's a good question. Honestly, I've been thinking about this because I know you're going to ask this.
Yeah, I'd ask the same ones every round.
It's hard. Like now that I'm in a moment, I'm just like, I don't know. I think I would tell myself to just continue to trust your gut. Like, because even in times where you're not sure, so much is going on, just trust your gut. Because like I said, I think I made a lot of gut decisions out there at the right times. It just didn't happen the right way. So just continue to trust your gut. Don't doubt yourself, because there was a time that I did almost wanted to vote yes with Kobe because I thought that like just your instinct is always right for yourself. Don't Yeah, that's what I would tell myself.
Do you prefer swaps or no swaps?
I think it depends on the swap. I prefer a swap. If I had a swap, I would have been a completely different, like in a completely different situation come merge. Like if there was a swap after that Kobe vote or before, like I think I would have done even better. Because like I said, I feel like I know how to get people like to like me, at least to like, oh, I think Juan's cool. So like I definitely think swaps are good because like you saw it happen. We got to the merge, and yes, I was on the bottom of my tribe, but like the other tribe was so close, they didn't trust me as a unit because they didn't know. Like they just didn't know. Like yes, I was telling them everything, but I think had I had a swap and was able to really like show them without having them be under pressure thinking that I was lying, then they would have believed me. So, definitely a swap for my game that I was in. But for some people, it would have ruined. Like, let's say Alice and Allie and shit. Like, I think it probably could have ruined their game. So, depends on the game.
Should every game have a redemption component to it?
Um, I'm gonna say yes, just because like everyone spends their money to come out. Why not give them an extra chance to like do it? I think redemption's great because again, it switches up dynamics. So it's like you're thinking about who's going to come back. You're thinking about how is someone coming back going to affect my game from day one, right? So like I think it should. I think it makes it interesting and adds a little spice in the middle of it.
What was your favorite challenge you competed in?
That's a hard one because I loved all of them.
Sumo at Sea?
No, that's not my favorite. I will say that might be a lot of people's favorite, but that was not my favorite. I was dead. Like I was no. I'm strong, but that day I was not strong at all. Like I loved the hot pursuit challenge. I really like that one. I think I have the tree mail for it because I was like, I want it. And just like parts of it, like anything that involved running, I loved it. Like I love running. I played soccer for 7 years. I played baseball for 3. I do a lot of cardio in my life. Like I used to have my mile in 6 minutes when I was in like high school. So like running, I got you. Like let's do it.
What was a favorite camp life moment?
One of my favorite camp lives. Well, there's a couple, but like I think my favorite camp life aspect is like when our tribe would win a challenge, even the rewards, and we would just sit down and just not talk about game. We were probably thinking about it, right? But we would just all sit down and just have a talk as a tribe and just talk about random ass stuff, which happened a lot for us, obviously, because it was back and forth winning. But I think it just showed that like our tribe we really all got along. Like I think everyone in our tribe liked each other like 100%. And I think that's why all of our tribals were messy because like we were all so connected. We didn't want anybody to leave, so no one wanted their person to leave. So I think just spending time with my tribe, because like we even still have a group chat now. We are active in it so much. Like we talk
So
so
there's
much.
the cast group chat, and then there's the not a group chat.
Yeah, and we're active in it so much. Like we just like talking, and I think I think that's one of the things I enjoyed about camp life, just getting to know my tribe and learning about them.
Who would you share the jar of candy with?
That's a hard one. Definitely would have gotten it for myself because I needed all the extra energy in my body. Um, and um, I I would have shared it with Deb. Honestly, had I chosen, I think I would have chosen Allison and Aliana. and that's it. Because like at the time, I think I would have.
Mhm.
I don't. That's a hard question. I honestly would have just chosen who wanted it because learning that a lot of people didn't even really like candy on my tribe. So I think
Maybe you choose those people so then that you don't have to share the candy with them because they won't eat it.
right. So like I. I probably would have shared it with Kobe too. Like whoever wanted it, that's what Kobe did. Because I think so many people on our tribe didn't really eat it. So everyone who raised their hand, he picked.
Who do you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't have an opportunity to do so?
Um, Honestly, I am going to say Chad. I really do think that me and Chad would have been like a really good duo. But the cards were just not in that favor at that time. And if I had to pick someone from the other tribe, I'm going to do that too because why not? I will say Lachey. Like that was my like when I got in merge, that was my girl. Like me and her clicked like that as soon as merge happened, and I was just sad it was cut short just because of lack of communication. Like it could
Mhm.
have been easily avoided. But definitely Chad and Lachey.
Who would you like to see come back and have a second chance at Reelfoot beside yourself?
I was going to say myself because hello, I ate it up. I got fucked over. I will say if somebody else could come back. Can I choose one from each tribe?
Sure.
Yay. Okay. For my tribe, I am going to say Colby. And that's because, like I said, he's like literally a golden child of any two survivor people. Put him together, he literally looks like he should be out there. Like he's smart, he's good at puzzles, he's strong. Like I think he's just young. Like that's it. Like not a bad thing, but like I think like your brain works different when you're a little
Mhm.
older. 20 is young. 20 is small and like you react to situations differently. But I think Kobe would definitely kill it again if he played. Oh, and the other tribe, um actually, I don't want to do anybody from other tribe. I don't they didn't want to see me stay in the game, so I'm not want to see them back, okay? But if I had to choose someone, I would choose someone I really didn't get to play with, which was Janai, because she was really fun in the jury
Mhm.
house.
Well, Juan, I think that's all the questions I have. I just thank you so much for taking your time to do this with me today.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this, and now I can stop talking to my friends every 2 hours about this game because I know they get tired of it. I mean, I
You
still
just
will.
send them this video and say, "Watch this and report back."
Right. Yes. But thank you for taking your time and doing this. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's been fun hearing your comments in the chat for the other ones. So I was like, so I'm excited to finally hear hear your story about your game.
Yes. One side of First Fire.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been another episode of Live Reality Game Podcast. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be talking with the runner-up of the game, Allison. So get excited for that. Thank you so much again, Juan. Have a good rest of your evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.